you've made a big decision to start over. We have the Seven of Pentacles, the World card, and the Fool following after. If you've heard me talk about the Seven of Pentacles before, you know that's my audit card. We are looking through, we are sifting through, we're making sure that there are things in order. We're making sure that the resources that we have are in place and we still have access to them. And then we're also making sure that we're taking stock of what is not there at the same time, but we're doing it from a neutral place. Why? Because with the World card, just from this depiction of the Amazon forest, you have a greater understanding of the exchange that you're involved in. Okay, I feel like your perspective has expanded. So for example, with this depiction of this very dense, beautiful forest, you understand that the trees give us oxygen, and in exchange, we give it carbon dioxide. We're both working together. We both need each other in order to survive. That's one way of looking at it. And because of that, because you're aware that you are always connected to something that's bigger than you, that you are always being provided for, because this is how it feels it's coming out. There's a stronger awareness of your own ability to gain, because you've likely experienced the reality where the lack was constantly projected, where you're always looking at what's not there. But with the audit energy here, the Seven of Pentacles, this re-strategizing of what is currently around us, you're looking at what is, not what's, instead of what's not. And that makes sense as to how we can end up closing the story, because this is the last card in the Major Arcana, and then begin a new one, the very beginning of the Major Arcana. And this is the energy of being adaptable. It's like with the white rose here in the fox's mouth, we are allowing ourselves to surrender to simply what it is. And it could be the truth that you are provided for, the truth that there is more abundance around you. The truth is that you don't have to hang on to a story forever, and that you are allowed to start over. Do you see around this fox? There's so much air, there's so much breathing room. This is much lighter. We're moving with more fluidity. This is more of a hybrid experience, instead of it tilting to one polarity all the time. What's not there, lack. This is the consideration and taking action of knowing what is there. So outright, I could say for a lot of you, this is like, you can call it the abundant mindset, the prosperity mindset, but this is your ability to close a door and open another. Give yourself credit. This right here could be years of work. You know, they say usually around the age of 7, that's when we solidify our beliefs. Maybe what we have done is we have closed the chapter on those beliefs that do not resonate with us anymore, or that no longer serve us. This is putting the work in. Putting the work in. And I know you have results, because I think the biggest result for a lot of you is how you feel right now. You know that a major change has happened within you, as I say, when you don't react to the same things the way you did before. Not a whole lot has to change around you, but your perspective and your attitude about it. Many of you are much better at catching yourself and say, you know what? I know there are things that I can change, and there are things that I cannot. So I feel like for a lot of you, you finally decided to stop being the hero to everybody. You understand, I can't save everybody. And I can't even show up the way I want to when I'm not even paying attention to what I'm not providing for myself. This is like a redefinition of selfishness. And I want to call it constructive selfishness, where you're actually taking inventory of what it is that you do, what it is that you've been capable of adapting to. And just, I think it's just honoring your skill, honoring your ability to be able to navigate through the changes, navigate through the shifts. Many of you are ready to move into new territory. So I wonder if any of you are actually, if we want to get a little bit more detailed, packing up. You're preparing to relocate. You're preparing for a new position. You're preparing to maybe even be visible in different ways. Or I want to say outright, you're preparing to receive. Because that's what a lot of us are trying to learn how to do, is to surrender to the truth that we are already worthy of receiving. Enough of you, this is talking about finding a way to get paid to exist. Even allowing that belief to be there. Because it's very clear that we have shifted our value here. And you see this beautiful elephant? Elephants are extraordinarily intelligent. Incredible creatures. Admired, but they also are, there's preserves and we want protections for them. But we also know that people have been able to train them to do things that there's some discussions about ethics, right? But for people to do that, they have to be aware of the intelligence. And I'm bringing this up because it's not just that other people are aware of what you can do for them. You're now turning that inward and allowing those resources to be applicable to you first and foremost, so that you can take care of the people, of the relationships, of the environment directly around you. It's like we finally stopped saying we have to save the world, and I was like, hold on. Let me make sure that story includes what's going on here, what's immediately in front of me. What is there? The world can also talk about some of you finally getting online and deciding to share what it is that you've learned over time. Sharing your financial gifts and tips, right? Sharing your intellect, what you've learned from academia, what you've learned from being in the streets, what you've learned from life, right here. And you could be deciding to broadcast this on a world stage, such as the internet. Some of you may actually have goals to where you're like, I want to be somebody who contributes more to the world. But you understand that in order to do that, you have to start writing a different story. You have to start telling a different story. You have to start believing in a different story. Congratulations. So then I asked, what can we do to maintain our commitment to this new story, where we are taking our adaptability and no longer weaponizing it, and we're using it to our immediate advantage, okay? First, we have the Three of Cups, followed by the Ten of Swords, and then we have our King of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. All right. For some of you, this is about whittling down your community. Understanding that we need to focus more on our intimate connections, those that are immediately around us. And I think that for enough of you, you knew that you were able to get to this place of adjustment by actually excluding any extraneous energies, any extraneous acts of service or calls to action. It is just by focusing on that heightened or that higher vibration of play, that higher vibration that it encourages love. It encourages curiosity. It encourages showing up. So being in spaces, being in communities, and being in connections that encourage you to just be adaptable, to flow with things, to communicate what's going on, and to share of yourself. These are very honorable connections. These are honorable communities. And they're working for you because above all else, you feel seen here. So what we can do is continue to show up in places that see us. And like I said about excess, as much as we have held a story of wanting to save everybody, now that when you spend more time in these spaces, it's very clear when the overwhelm starts to happen, because we're still humans. We can get stressed out by things. Life will still present some demands. Responsibilities can stack up, right? But the strife, the strain, the overwhelming thoughts, it's saying, whenever your mind gets a little out of control again, when all that noise starts coming back in and you start to feel like you're suffering, we know it's because there's too much chatter going on up here. Maybe there's too many cooks in the kitchen. We're including way too many opinions, right? So then what do? We remind ourselves. We remind ourselves the work that we did to get here. But not only do we have to remember that we can be the King of Pentacles, the person who is able to remember how to engage in the exchange in a healthy way, but can also put out a call, put out that reach out for help. Because this king here, they know they're not the only creature in the forest. This is an ecosystem that we're a part of. So when, oh, there it is. This is a reminder that for those of you, like, this could also be like the temptation or the old narrative of I have to do everything by myself. Whenever that happens, you know that you can actually lighten your load. Okay, these salamanders also, they can lose parts of, obviously, their tails, but they can also lose parts of their brain and regenerate. So this is about, the way you maintain the commitment to this new story is by remembering that you can always regenerate. You can always replenish. The King of Pentacles knows that. And if the King of Pentacles is somebody else that you reach out to, especially when it's overwhelmed, they are somebody who speaks life. They will speak life into you. They speak life into others. This person could be a counselor. They could be someone who's even online, who's really good at speaking life, affirming life into people. And I want to say this here. Ooh, hold on. Felt a little choked. I'm feeling a little bit of the tingles here. You have somewhere to go. You have somewhere to go. When you leave this place, and you decide to go out on your own, ooh, I usually cry during readings, but you have somewhere to go, okay? Even if you feel like you're on your own for a bit, there's places that will accept you, and I encourage you to remember that, okay? So, with that being said, I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you so much for joining me. I intend that this reading was helpful and that you felt seen and validated, and that you can remember that you can always make a choice. You don't need to take years to make a decision. You make it right now. I am the person who is no longer hanging on to those limited beliefs. Just right now. I am the person who belongs somewhere when I want to belong somewhere. You can be that person right now. And I really want you to try your best to show up for yourself that way. Commune with those beliefs. Even surrender to those beliefs. And my surrender is just, don't resist it. Don't resist the idea of this being an experience for you, because if it came up here, there's a reason. You're more than capable of achieving that reality. So don't deprive yourself of it, even if it seems outlandish, okay? So thank you for allowing me to be a messenger. I love being able to show up and do this work. If you don't know, my name is Maya, and if you'd like a private reading from me, the information's in the description. Whew. And please do your best to keep the faith in you and all the work that you've done. And I love you very much. Until next time.